The Albion State Normal School was established in 1893 by the Second Idaho State Legislature. Residents erected and furbished a 2-story stone building on 5 acres of donated land, and the very successful teacher training school opened on September 11, 1894. In 1947, more buildings were erected, and the institution became known as the Southern Idaho College of Education, then the Magic Valley Christian College. It closed in 1969 and is now home to the Haunted Mansions of Albion, which is the best haunted attraction in the whole state of Idaho during October. What caused this location to become so paranormally active? Was it the war? Was it the tragic events that occurred there? Stay tuned. Mystery Media Group presents Case File 47.
You are listening to Mystery Media Group.
Yay! Hello, I'm Melissa with Ghost Girl Memoirs.
I'm Mike with Paranormal Treasure Hunter, and you are listening to Destination Mystery. We believe the paranormal is all around us, and every destination is an adventure. We never know what we're going to find in our adventure, but we do know that we'll have an interesting story to tell when we return. We're not going to the same locations or telling the same stories that you've heard over and over. Most of our destinations will be in locations you've never thought to look or investigate or explore. And we hope you will join us in our journey toward discovering the truth.
The Idaho State Normal School, which is referred to now as the Haunted Mansions of Albion. We're joined today by Mike and Melissa, of course, and then we have some of our other team members here. We've got Cosette.
Hello.
Kais.
What's up?
And Cameron.
What's good?
And they have all been to Albion. We have all been to Albion on multiple occasions, and we've had lots of different experiences while we're there. So we're going to talk about those today. And I'm going to give a little history on the place first, unless you want to read it.
You want me to?
Sure. I bet people are tired of my voice.
Established by the Idaho legislature in 1893, it was one of the 2 normal schools in the state. The other in Lewiston is now Lewis and Clark State College. Citizens of Albion had actively lobbied for the school's establishment and donated land and labor for the new campus. The focus of the normal school was to train teachers. Normal schools were developed and built primarily to train elementary level teachers for public schools. During its existence, Albion Normal awarded some 6,460 degrees. Perhaps its most notable alumni was Terrell Bell, who served as the Secretary of Education in the original cabinet of the President Ronald Reagan. The college athletic teams were known as the Teachers until 1935 when they became the Panthers. School colors were cardinal and black, and the annual students' yearbook was called the Sage.
I was going to show you guys a picture of 2 of the seniors from the football team. They're 2 seniors from the 1908 football team, which at that time was known as the Teachers, but then they switched to the Panthers. And my second favorite part of that whole school is the gymnasium.
Oh, yeah.
Where the Panthers logo is on the floor, and it looks cool because it's all just still there, the old floor.
So their team name was like the Teachers, like that was them?
To begin with, yeah. And then they switched to the Panthers, which was much more cool.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I mean, they were just a regular college. The normal school, they called them normal schools because it is a French term for, I don't remember the exact word, but it's for education. So they were basically prepping teachers, elementary school teachers.
I guess. I just kind of find it weird that they choose that word.
Yeah, back in the day, it was probably
Not the dumb
quite
school.
normal
The normal school.
to be called the normal school, but nowadays it'd be like, what the fudge is
Somebody
that?
would be offended.
Normal is not cool anymore. Abnormal is cool. Paranormal is cool.
Yeah, put that on a t-shirt. Normal is not cool. Paranormal is cool.
Paranormal is cool, but not normal.
I'd wear that every day.
The school remained troubled by low enrollment and lack of funding and was finally closed by the state in 1951. The population of Albion is 267 people, and it's known to be the most haunted town in Idaho.
Does that surprise you?
No, that place is so creepy.
That place is creepy.
Even just driving through it, it's just kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
I kind of felt sketched out. I don't know if it was quite Albion, but when I stopped at that Shell to get gas,
Oh, yeah.
that was creepy being out there by myself.
Yeah, that whole area is a little creepy.
You're in town. Old.
Yeah. It's like everywhere you go, you feel like something's watching you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Not that there's a whole lot of places to go.
All
but
267 people.
are watching you. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
The normal school sits in the center of the small town, and it's hard to miss if you are driving through. In October, the buildings are transformed into haunted mansions of Albion. It is the largest indoor-outdoor haunted attraction in the Northwest.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
That's cool.
That is
That is
cool.
what
And
Well, that
there-
makes sense. There's like, you go through
There's
4 of
four.
them. They're like 4 to 5, 6 floors.
there are people that travel from all over
Yeah.
to come in October.
travel to that again. That place was way cool.
That
Yeah.
place was fun.
Agreed.
Miller Hall served as the men's dormitory, and during World War II, while the men were at war, the women turned Miller Hall into a spook alley for Halloween.
That's kind of cool. I mean,
So like while they were gone at war.
well, yeah. So they turned that into a spook alley during Halloween, and now the whole place is turned into a spook alley during
No
Halloween.
wonder it has so much energy.
Mhm.
Comish Hall served as the women's dormitory and is notably the most haunted building on campus. The caretakers of the property have seen a young woman in the window on the first floor of the building on several occasions. Is her name Alice?
I don't know what her name is, but I would wonder if her name is Alice. And I think she might have been talking to Cameron while we were there.
There is one reported death on campus. A young man hung himself in the stairway between the first floor and the basement of Comish Hall. It was rumored that the young man was hearing noises that made him go mad.
Which building
I
is
think-
Miller Hall?
Miller Hall is the one that is now like they
No, that's
fixed it
Comish Hall.
up and you can stay in there. You could rent it out.
Oh, it's the one across.
Oh, so
It's the nice
it's
one.
The one
It's
that
an
don't check
Airbnb.
it.
Right.
Okay.
And then Comish Hall is, I think that's how you say it,
Is
is
when you walk through.
the one that they don't have turned into an attraction, but you can walk through it and investigate, which is the one that we did, that we investigated in.
We should try getting into Miller.
Yeah.
You can rent
Well,
it
we
for
can rent it
$1,500
out.
a night.
The next thing we're going to do is rent out Miller Hall for a big family reunion.
And stay the night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
I'm going.
Heck yeah.
Just going.
And I think there's even like a hot tub and everything. So we'll have a few really cool amenities while we're freezing our arses off trying to investigate. There was one other article that I found. I'm going to show you that it's a real article. And it was basically 2 boys that went to the normal school were found dead in their house one morning. Nobody knows for sure how they died. It's kind of a mystery, but they lived like 2 blocks from the normal school. So they didn't stay in the dorms, but they stayed at their family home, and their dad went in to wake them up one morning. He thought it was kind of odd that they hadn't gotten out of bed, and they were both dead. Nobody knows why. So that's a little bit on the history. So just read some of the paranormal activity that's been reported there.
Some of the paranormal activity reported includes footsteps, disembodied voices, people being touched and pushed, ghostly apparitions of animals and humans, draining of equipment batteries, a black-haired woman who many believe to be a cook who worked at the school for 40 years, and the apparition of a young, pale woman with dark eyes.
And she's the one that they reported watching out the window of the 2nd floor.
It was cool how that article was saying how like people have like reported being touched and stuff, and like how you experienced that and stuff. And it was like big on communications with whatever, the paranormal stuff was.
Is very active.
I want to
Yeah.
check because if they went to the war, that might be the last known place of comfort. So that's where they go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's their last known. If they died in the war, that's their last known place of comfort.
True. And I don't know if you heard that. Tice brought up a good point about if we went to investigate Miller Hall, there might have been soldiers that died in the war that maybe returned back there not knowing they're dead, basically, or they didn't know where else to go because that was the last known place that they had lived.
It's true.
So we'll definitely have to rent that out and do that one night. You there, Mike?
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to myself this whole time.
Yeah.
That's what we were worried about.
How come you're not laughing? That was a good joke.
Oh, shoot. We missed all the good jokes.
Yeah, they were my best ones. Oh my gosh.
I was wondering why you're being so quiet.
Do you remember them telling us about that when we were going into Comish Hall that one time?
Is she the one responsible for the light in the window?
I think so, yes.
You know what? I was looking. There was a light upstairs, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you asked.
How did they get up there? It was boarded off completely.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that light.
Because I remember thinking I want to sneak up there, and it was boarded off. You couldn't get up there.
That's what we saw.
That's what it is.
So this is kind of crazy. Tice was asking if
Do you have that picture of me?
if anybody in the normal school had to wear uniforms because you know the picture that he caught, it looks like the gentleman is wearing a collar. It almost looks like a suit. I'm gonna pull it up.
Was it that picture you showed me at the place?
Yeah.
Right here. You see a collar
And a cuff on the wrist.
and a cuff. Yeah. It almost looks like he's wearing a sailor type uniform.
Yeah.
What if he's from World War II?
That's what I'm saying.
Like the Navy or something.
Yeah.
Like the Navy.
So I Googled some photos. That's a similar type collar right there.
And the cuff on the white.
Yeah.
It does now that
Yeah.
you know, I always considered that photo to be maybe a gentleman in a suit because they had dances and stuff downstairs. But now that you look at these pictures, I almost wonder if it's more of a
Sailor.
sailor type.
Taylor, that's what I thought.
That's exactly what it looks like.
But they went off to war in World War II and then they'd come back there.
Maybe he's there to be at the dance,
Yeah.
thinking that
He's looking for Alice.
Looking for
Yeah.
Alice. Maybe this is Alice. Who knows?
There she is.
Tice captured. This was the first time we
it's
went.
the first time we ever
The
went,
very
yeah.
first time we went to Albion, Tice captured a picture. It was in the basement of Comish Hall. Right as you go down the stairs to your right, there's a big room that was used as like a social hall, dance hall. And you see it's see-through, but you can definitely see a person standing there. You see the legs, there's arms, and the elbows kind of put out like a girl would be hooking her arm through the elbow type thing. You see a collar on the clothing that he's wearing, like he's wearing a jacket, and it's just really strange. It's a clear image of a person, yet it's completely see-through, and there's no windows down there. The windows are all boarded up. There's no mirrors. So it wasn't like a reflection of anybody.
I was the only one in that room when I took
And it
that
was just a
photo.
concrete room.
Just a concrete room. It was on a cell phone camera.
And they took 3 pictures in a row and it only
Mhm.
appeared in one.
Yeah.
Right.
What made you like want to take a picture? Did you just like see something or
No, I mean, it's a big room and it was dark. So I just said, I'll just kind of canvas the whole room and just take a bunch of pictures in there and just see if I get anything. And then we didn't see that until after we got back to the car and everything. We're heading back.
And it's one of the best photos anybody on our team has ever captured.
Clear.
We'll have to
I
put
think
that
it's
up.
crazy how detailed it is too.
It
Like,
is.
I mean, you get some pictures where you like can make out like a dress or something, but like the fact that you can see a collar, a cuff, and
Definite. And you know what, too? You look at the pant legs and they look kind of shorter,
yeah,
like a
I feel-
sailor.
I feel like I even see shoes.
Yeah.
Right here.
It's insane.
Weird how clear it is and yet how like it's hard to also like see at the same time, you know?
right.
Yeah. That was on our very first trip, and that kind of got us hooked on the place. The first time we went to visit the Haunted Mansions of Albion. When you get to Cormish Hall, the old girls' dormitory, you can just walk through it and investigate and do whatever you want to do. So that's what we did the first time. And when Tice caught that picture, was it the first time we went through that I got touched, Mike, or was that the second time?
Second or third. when it pulled your antenna?
Yeah, my antenna.
Oh yeah, because you were wearing.
Alien.
It would have been like the second or third
It was
time.
the one we went with that picture you took.
Jill and them.
Yes, because we took a whole group of us down in our RV. And when we got to that building, we asked the person that was standing outside what the most haunted or most active room in the facility was. And they said it was the pink room downstairs. And they said that there was a man, I believe, that hung out in there, and they didn't know who he was for sure. That was definitely the most active room. So we went in that room, tried to kind of communicate with him. Michael told me to step into the closet. So I stepped into the closet and I felt immediately just weird. I did not like it in there. I stepped out and I said, nope, I'm not going in there. And I leaned up against the wall. I was wearing a hat that had two like braids that come down over your ears to keep you warm.
It was the alien antennas.
Yeah, and the alien antennas. And I felt a tug.
I know you're trying to leave that part out, but
oh, well, I was wearing a really weird hat. And I felt a tug, and I thought it was Mike. And I'm like, did you just tug my? He's like, no. I was like, don't mess with me, dude. Did you just tug my hat? And he's like, no, I did not tug your hat.
Is that what just happened in Cambria?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I freaked out. And then Michael's like, the same thing happened to me. What happened to you, Mike?
well, I went in that room before everybody else got there, and I didn't turn on any lights, and I walked towards the closet, and I stepped in the closet because that's where they said the activity was, and I was wearing a hoodie around my waist, tied on my waist, and I felt two tugs on my hoodie, my sleeve of my hoodie that was wrapped around my waist. And I thought, did my stomach just twitch or did something pull on that? And so I backed against the wall and I said, hey, Melissa, go stand in that closet. And you didn't even get to the closet before you backed away and said, no way. And then you hit me because I tugged on you. You said I tugged on your hat, but I didn't. No, I wasn't even near you.
I think that was really like the first time that I'd ever been touched by something unknown.
I wasn't positive that it was not, a muscle spasm or something. But then when you screamed, I said, did it tug on it? You're like, yeah. And I said, did it tug twice? And you're like, yeah. So both of us experienced two tugs.
And then this last time we were there, Cambria got a couple of tugs on her sweatshirt, wasn't
No, it was
it?
her hair.
Oh, it was her hair. That's right.
And she thought it was Michael.
She thought Michael had tugged on her hair and he hadn't touched her.
So that was over by the closet too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It
Was that
wasn't
where she
in
was
that
at?
room. It was the hallway turning into the pink room that it happened.
So it's close.
We were all standing gathered outside the pink room waiting for everybody because they were leaving and the rest of us were staying. And that's where it happened.
Pink room is definitely active.
My hands were in my pocket. They were freezing.
We did a little spirit box EVP session in there and we got a lot of EMF activity. Michael, you got some stuff on your thermal that last time we were there.
We got a spot on the wall. I can't say what it was, but man, it sure looked like death, like the Grim Reaper. But I remember the time before, earlier this year when we went, that one of the workers was talking about seeing a pair of legs. Remember that?
I do.
Something about legs. I don't remember exactly what he said because I wasn't really
He
listening.
saw two legs walking down the hall, but the upper torso wasn't there.
And, Tice's picture, the legs are much more visible than the rest of it. But I got a thermal image of a pair of legs. I don't know.
That was just outside the pink room too, wasn't it?
Yep, right outside the pink room. Right after that guy bolted.
Uh-huh.
Right after the worker quit and went home because the flashlight turned on.
Yeah. So we had one of the workers, or
this was the time before we went.
Yeah, that he was like, he told us about his experiences and stuff. And then they allowed us to come in and investigate, to bring our equipment and investigate. And we had the flashlight come on when we asked it to. And as soon as that happened, he left and we never saw him again. And we wanted to find him because after that, Michael had captured the two legs on his thermal. And we're like, hey, look, we were trying to validate his experience and he was gone.
He gone. He gone.
He gone. He didn't just leave the area. He went home.
Yeah.
He quit.
To the Cheez-Its.
To the Cheez-Its.
To the Cheez-Its.
Cameron, did you have any thing happen in that pink room that you remember?
Is that the one where it's got that pipe in there and you're inside the was that?
Yep.
Well, I know we were getting like the names. We had Austin, we had was it Adam or something like that?
Yeah.
like it was like a clear story with our readers. It was like going back and forth about like how there was like some bloody fight between this
Oh, yeah.
Austin guy, and then we got like knife, blood, and attack, and
Oh yeah.
Austin came up several times. And so we were wondering if Austin might possibly be the name of the kid that hung himself by the stairway. We don't know his name for sure. And then we got the word bloody. And I think I asked, what's bloody?
And it said the knife.
And it said the knife.
Mhm.
So Cameron was like, oh, here's what happened. And he told the story. And then after he said his version of what he thought was happening, the EMF just went insane. And I remember Cosette and I were both standing in the closet when that happened. And all of a sudden, Cosette was like, okay, the atmosphere in the room just went nuts.
I could feel that too.
Because when I first walked in there, I didn't feel anything. And the second that happened, I felt really heavy.
Cameron, do you remember the story that you came up with?
I just remember it was something as if there was like a fight that had gone on, or like they're like wrestling around or something like
Over
that.
a girl?
Weren't they fighting over Alice? Is what we said.
I don't know if that was what we said or if we like said that afterwards, but I just remember something about them fighting, and then when that happened, like Cosette said, there was that weird feeling, and like I remember that where it was like feeling as if like a rush of wind came in, but it wasn't windy at all, and it was like a weird just feeling. There was like movement going on, but you couldn't see it or
It's like
feel
you're
it.
heavy. You can't breathe.
It's almost like I always compare it to the atmospheric pressure, like right before a storm. You know how you can feel the air around you
Yeah.
gets really heavy? That's how I kind of compare it to. I have a question for you, Cameron. When you were putting this little storyline together, did you just any kind of pictures pop up in your head, or did you just think, oh, this is what happened?
I kind of like, well, I could kind of like imagine like a bed, like there's a bed right outside the closet on that same side. I could just like see like when I was picturing the story together, I could kind of like see these two guys messing around, and they both got each other fighting for a knife kind of thing. That was kind of like what was going on in my head. But
Have you ever had that happen before?
I've never had that happen. No, well, not fighting with a knife or anything like
Well,
that.
I mean, I'm just wondering if you might have some abilities, Cameron, that you just aren't aware of.
Maybe. I don't
And
know.
I mean, this story could be totally false. We have no idea. We don't know how to corroborate it or anything. But the fact that we got those words on the ovulus,
and it was just a storyline coming in on those on the obelisk and everything.
and they made sense. They were answering the questions that I was asking. So that's why it was a little strange. And then you come up with this theory or this story, and the EMF goes insane, and everybody in the room felt that pressure. The room changed.
It's almost as if when I was saying that story, it was almost like it was being reenacted, but like energy of it being reenacted is what we were feeling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, that was the only room that I felt drained in. Like I was mentally exhausted. Like I closed my eyes. I was tired when I was sitting in that desk there. Like that's the only room that I was tired in. When we got out, I was like fine back then.
Maybe the event drained our energy because it was kind of replaying, and Cameron was able to pick it up and see it at that time.
Well, a lot of energy or trauma. If there's
A traumatic event.
a traumatic event holds more energy than
just an everyday normal event.
So if something traumatic happened in that room, it's going to hold that energy forever.
Yeah. So the theory about energy doesn't die.
Is that like E equals MC squared?
Yeah. Energy doesn't, we can't create it and we can't destroy it. It's always there.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was
just changes forms.
It just changes form. So if there was a traumatic event that happened in that room, those walls are going to hold something. It's never going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that quite interesting.
Was there blood in that room?
Mm-hmm.
Did you find blood somewhere?
I did shine my light around trying to find some, but I didn't see.
I don't think we found, I mean, not that we know that was blood, but it's
so old.
That somewhere else, I'm thinking.
So old, the floor is gross and the walls are covered.
I was like shining my flashlight because I wanted to see blood.
And there could have been. I don't know. But we got the word bloody on the ovulus, and so that was kind
Maybe
of
that's what I'm thinking.
And then upstairs, I decided to go into the bathrooms and start a EVP spirit box session up there. And then everybody slowly joined in. it was kind of crazy because I was asking questions and it seemed like Cosette was holding the EMF detector. And the only time it would go off was if a female asked the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Every time a male asked the questions, it was like dead silent.
Even the spirit, like everything.
Yeah.
If a guy asked, it was nothing. But then you'd ask a question right after him.
And we also got some flashlight activity up there. And I have a little clip to play for you, Cameron.
Hope it says Cameron. Hope you got an EVP.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
I did not get an EVP, but this is just a reenactment of what happened.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, I thought she's looking at the Ghost Adventurers. Flashlight just came on.
Holy shit.
That's scary.
Can you turn it back off?
I was like, what are you? Thank you. Any chance you could make that go a little brighter?
Prison.
Do you? Isn't that weird that this goes off when do you feel like this is your
Catherine.
Cameron?
Cameron? Do you know? Oh, look. Do you know Cameron? And as it said that, the EMF went off.
What the hell?
Anyway, we got the name Cameron, which.
But didn't after it said Cameron, wouldn't it respond to Cameron? It wasn't responding to men until it said that, and then and then it would respond
I
to
said one thing, and it was there, but I don't think it like you could definitely tell there was like a shy feeling, like that it gave kind of like it seemed like it was there, like you could tell it was there, but like I don't remember an answer or something like that.
So we were asking questions. We seemed to be getting a female coming through whose name was Alice. We asked if she was the girl that I believe was looking out the window. And I think we got the EMF went off, which indicated that we thought it was a yes. And we got your name that came up. And I remember asking, hey, do you know Cameron? Or do you like Cameron? Do you think Cameron's cute? And the EMF was kind of going nuts. But how strange is that to get your name on the Ovilus? Have we ever had that name come across before?
Cameron, no.
Not that I know of.
Because we would have remembered Cameron.
And it's spelled exactly how you would have spelled it. Or how you spell it.
How you would have.
That's crazy. I don't know. It was just definitely.
Or, after I was going through the Pink Room audio, I wondered, is she telling us that Cameron can sense what's going on here? So ask him.
Maybe.
Maybe. Cameron.
Melissa, did you hear that while we were there?
Yeah.
You heard Cameron while we were there?
Yeah, everybody did. I don't know if you were in the room at the time, but yes.
I think you were stepped out in the hall to take a fart.
You were probably farting.
Yeah, no.
Pretty good chance of that.
But yeah, we all heard it. We were like, what in the world?
Yeah, because we all freaked out in there.
Are we talking about the farting or the Cameron?
Both.
We freaked out after that because that's when we all evacuated the area.
We're trying to figure out, is that smell a demon or is it Michael?
Yes.
Bit of both.
How did you feel about your name coming across, Cameron?
It was definitely very weird. I was kind of like, well, obviously I was like, dude, what the, But there's never like a bad, weird feeling ever. Like there's nothing as if like I had done something bad or like, something weird going on. But when you later said you can follow Cameron around or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I could tell like what room, like I don't remember exactly which rooms it was, but there was definitely a feeling I'd feel, and it was almost like a comfort thing or like, I don't know, something weird like that. And it was just there when I would go in some rooms and whatnot. Like when we were in where all that crazy activity was going on, couldn't feel it there. But like just going kind of through the hallways and stuff. I didn't notice which ones that didn't work in, but main hallways and stuff like that.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because so many people are like, oh my gosh, the spirit knows my name. Oh, holy crap, this is evil. Well, it's not like every experience is going to be evil, bad, and crazy. Like you even mentioned that you almost felt comforted, almost like whatever it was knew who you were and was kind of trying to protect you as you went through.
Yeah, and it was like a weird connection kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like people always associate paranormal with evil.
Yeah, and it's not.
Most of the time, it's not. like 90% of the time it's not.
It depends on how you go about it, though. I feel like.
But we're very respectful when we go about it. Other people
your
are.
attitude going in.
Mhm.
Because if you're gonna be a d-bag and disrespect them, they're not.
Yeah,
gonna
that's
be,
true. It's gonna bring
Why
back.
would they give you that same respect back? Like, why would they say, "Oh, we're gonna be nice to these people," even though they're being disrespectful to us? If you want to be treated how you want to be treated, then they're gonna do the same.
They're people. They're just in a different form.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think it's like crazy how many people go to that place? You would assume that these spirits would be bothered, maybe. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
how
that's
many
what I
people-
was thinking.
And maybe they
But
were
no.
really bothered, but they could tell that your presence was not one that they needed to be irritated by or feared.
Mhm. And maybe she
So-
knew we were trying to communicate with her, and she was like, "Oh, someone to communicate or someone to talk to."
Right.
You know?
Finally, someone that's not coming through to bother me. They just want to know a few things. But I have to say, Cameron, I've thought this through quite a bit. Every time you've come with us on an investigation, we've had a lot of activity. And I mean a lot.
Maybe it's because we go to the cool places.
Maybe it's
That is true,
because
actually.
maybe the spirits actually feel comforted around you, or maybe you have an ability where they can talk to you, or I don't know, Cameron, but
Some spirit magnet, and maybe I don't
your
know.
spirit magnet.
Spirit magnet. Oh my.
Every time you've
You
come
got to
with
get him a
us,
shirt that says that. He has to wear on
that's
every
gonna, yeah,
investigation.
you're gonna be the spirit magnet. We'll put you out there as the bait.
I just picture Cameron like the, when That's So Raven, when the eye, she can
Oh,
see
the
the future.
Oh, yeah.
I literally see him walking into a room and doing that.
And going,
I knew what happened here.
I know what happened.
Yeah, but nothing. That's the first time anything like crazy like that's happened. Like name getting called. Like the other time, like at the tuberculosis hospital. Like I remember me and Tice would have the sharp feeling in our chest, that kind of thing, and then seeing the spirit, and I feel like that's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I've never even seen that, so you're really lucky. And
Don't you remember though when we had that thing under me and Ty said,
under the bed.
and then you got something on your thing that said under the bed.
it was like the spirit was trying to warn you. You were being
See?
protected.
They like to protect Cameron.
Maybe this is actually not somebody from either location. Maybe this is like your guardian angel that's
Just always.
it's always there and it's warning you or whatever. I don't know. Okay, we're getting in pretty deep.
Getting the deep end.
Getting the deep end. I have a couple of videos to show you guys. These are from the school and it's flashlight activity. Were you here when it was the Idaho Normal School? You can see the EMF going off. Oh.
So crazy.
Did you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm playing it again. Were you here when it was the Idaho Normal School? Oh.
When I went to Orange too.
So the flashlight went on when I asked, were you here when it was the Idaho Normal School? And the flashlight came on bright and strong. And you can see the EMF detector go to orange as well. I love the flashlight. It's
Was that after Cameron left? Was that after
this was not when you guys were there. This was just me and Mike and Joey, actually.
So shoes. I was wondering.
Yeah. I've got another one though. This one has spooky music to it. Because I added it for, effect. Here you go.
the tiki talk?
For the tiki. Well, it wasn't that, but yeah. Ready? Here we go. So you see the flashlight in the middle of the room. This was actually in the freezer area.
This is when we were with you.
Yes, this was this last time.
So Cameron had left at this point.
Yeah, Cameron, you weren't there. You didn't see this part, but
Was that when
the flashlight? Yes, some people had joined us and they were freaking out when this happened, but the flashlight was kind of on because we had asked it a question. It came on, but it wasn't very bright. You can see that here. It was not very bright. And then all of a sudden it gets brighter because we had asked it, hey, we can see that you're using your energy to turn this flashlight on. Can you make it any brighter? And it goes super bright. But the other really strange thing about the flashlight activity on this occasion was, do you remember?
Yeah, it was rolling towards me.
It was moving.
Yeah, like slow, like where you like push and it constantly rolls. It was like
A little bit.
It was almost like someone was moving it back and
Yeah.
forth.
It's almost like a clock hand in a way. Like, you know how it just slowly, that's what it was going like.
And I don't know if anybody could see it besides Tyson and I, because we were sitting
I
right
couldn't see it.
next to it, but I've never ever seen the flashlight actually move.
Yeah. Well, I
It
was paying
moved.
attention to the floor too. To see,
Like someone was almost trying to pick it up.
Yeah. Because I was trying to pay attention to the floor next to it too to see how quick it was moving, to see the gap. Because there's a little mud spot on the floor and it was getting closer and closer to that.
And it was moving towards Tice.
Yeah.
You were there, weren't you, Mike?
Yeah.
And then that's when he handed me the thermal and I was trying to see if we could see anything on the flashlight.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I'm sitting in my truck, and right when you said the lights came on and you asked that question, the lights on my gauges, there's little blue arrows on the gauges. All the arrow lights lit up. Just the arrow lights on my truck. I didn't move. I didn't turn a key. I touched nothing. I don't know how just the arrow lights light up, but they lit up for like 20 seconds at the same time you were talking about that.
So I must have an ability to turn on lights.
What? Yeah. Good job.
I wish I could make it happen more often, like when I ask it to.
I was trying to film it so you could see it, and they just turned off. But I didn't know you could turn on just the gauge lights, just the needle.
I don't even think you can just turn the needle on.
Mr. Mechanic, can you do that?
You know which needles I'm talking about? The gauge needles
like your
turn blue.
Your empty to full, your oil pressure,
Yeah.
I don't think you
just those needles turn blue.
Because when you turn your key, all your electronics come on, not just needles. So your whole cluster would be on.
Strange.
That is strange.
I have one more picture to show you. This one to me is like, it's not as good of a picture as what Tice captured, but Jill, I wish she was with us. I should have asked her to join. This is a picture that Jill captured. So the gentleman that hung himself on the stairway, I was telling her about it, and she was taking photos down that hallway. Okay. Nobody was standing at the end of that hallway. It was completely empty. I'm positive. She took 3 in a row. And the very last picture that shows up, you can see someone standing there at the foot of the stairs.
I definitely thought that was somebody. They need to go.
You can't really see anything, right? Till I zoom in.
See, you say you see someone.
Oh, what the?
Can you see that, Cameron?
Someone hanging.
In the middle of the figure.
It right here.
Yeah.
His knee. It looks like there's his ankle and his knees are bent that way.
You're right.
It's like his legs are tied together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like he's crisscrossed. God, that scared the shit.
Why you gotta do that?
To me, it looks like he's crisscrossing his legs, leaning up against.
That's what I thought also. But Tice brings up a good point where it almost looks like his legs right here are dangling.
And tied together.
Yeah. The thing that I think is a little strange is right here, it almost looks like he's wearing a hoodie. But the face is quite bright. It's white.
Yeah.
You know what's weird to me about this picture, though?
Yeah. Yeah, there is an orb on the stairs. Is it paranormal? Don't know.
Is it dust? Probably.
It could just be dust, but it's coincidental that it's right there.
Have you ever tried writing this up?
We should. Oh, hey, look at Cosette go. Why do I not have you doing all this stuff for me?
Look how much brighter.
But you can see his face. Wow. His face is white.
Look, that looks like a shoe.
See, that's what I'm saying. His knees are bent the other way.
Take 3 photos, and that's how you know whether or not you've captured something, because the 2 previous photos had nothing in them. And this one showed up.
Wow, that is distinct. That is very
look at that.
You can tell those other orbs are dust, kind of when you zoom out. You can kind of.
But this?
You can see more orbs as you do that too, or more dust particles.
That's pretty distinct.
That looks like somebody crisscrossing their legs. There's a foot. He's crossing his leg, leaning up against the.
Unless he's hanging. Because you do see.
You see something right here?
Well, right. Yeah, right here. It does kind of look like a rope. Can you see?
That's what I was thinking. I saw a rope.
And if that's the case, and his feet are dangling, that would make sense too.
That's the first thing when she pulled that photo up the first time. That's the first thing I thought.
Look at that from far away. You can see.
And that's the stairs right there, huh?
Yeah.
Because from far away, I still think I could just tell. Right there, it looks like an ankle facing this way, and then his knee goes up that way. So he's
See,
facing like this.
I don't see
And if
any.
he's leaning, he ain't gonna lean up against the stair like that.
Yeah.
So the majority of our activity has all happened in Comish Hall. Is that how you say
In the
it?
basement.
In the basement. But we've never really had the chance to investigate any of the other buildings because they have attractions in them.
So, Melissa,
Yes.
the figure that I'm seeing looks like he's facing the stairs, correct?
So it looks like
No,
But
he
he's more-
looks like he's staring at Jill, who's taking the photo.
But the body's facing the stairs,
Yes.
I
more or
believe so,
less.
yes.
I see two shadows, and it looks like both shadows are facing the opposite direction.
yeah, because the face is
This
going
is
that
going
way.
that way.
Well, and it doesn't look like that spot matches like the figure, if that makes
No,
sense.
it doesn't. It does not.
Is it a shadowy mist?
You know, on certain angles of that bigger shadow looks like it's in front of
Oh,
the
I see
person,
Like, could this be
doesn't
What,
it?
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Could this be Jill taking the photo?
No, because there wouldn't have been anything
Her
reflected.
shadow, she was way farther back.
Yeah,
She
her
was in the
shadow
middle of
wouldn't
the
be-
hall.
Yeah.
But that big shadow almost looks like it's in front of,
And you know,
doesn't it?
yeah. And the rumor was that he had gone mad. He was hearing voices and they said he went crazy. Was
Hmm.
there something there that made him go crazy? Is that what that dark shadow there is?
That made him go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Was his name Austin? Don't know. And
Have you tried looking it up?
yeah, and I can't find names, but we got the name Austin on a couple of different occasions. So that was interesting. We had what could possibly be some EVPs and some responses from the spirit box, but because we weren't in a controlled environment with just our group, I don't trust that
It's
they're
hard to
authentic
Tell
and real.
whether it's a
Yeah.
person in the hallway or
Yeah.
So,
So I didn't really go into those too deeply. I mean, if you ever get the chance to go to Albion, Idaho, which is a tiny little town out in the middle of nowhere, they do a pretty fantastic haunted attraction in October.
You know,
They certainly do.
Yeah, and I'm excited if we get to rent the place out.
Miller Hall's supposed to be haunted, and we've never had the chance to really. We've walked through it, but that's it.
Yeah,
that's
I would want to do the one we were in that one night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Comish Hall. I think that one would be crazy, and then that other one we didn't get to see. I think that would be really cool.
Miller Hall. And I also really think that every time I've gone into the theater area, I get
oh, really?
the vibes.
I get vibes in the basketball.
And yes, and
Back to the basketball. That one was cool.
yeah.
That was weird.
So I'd really like to do investigations in both of those areas as well. It's just the coolest place. I wish we could buy it, Mike.
That'd be
Yes.
Live there.
weird.
Yeah,
So weird.
it's a cool place.
But it's
I love
almost
it.
like when you walk into the gymnasium, it's almost like you can feel the crowd there watching a basketball game. Like you can feel them, the excitement,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that it experienced a lot of excitement because the small little town had nothing else going on. So I'm sure that the entire community supported that college
Yeah.
and went to all the events there. And, just one of those things that brings the group together, brings good friends together. And even if you don't like this kind of stuff or you've never done it before, it brings a whole new perspective, and
Just plain fun.
it is plain fun because you get to hang out with people that are excited about it like you are. And people think, oh, you're ghost hunting. Well, I don't like to call it ghost hunting. It's an experience that I get to have with friends that prove to us that life exists beyond just what we know it as. And there's a good mystery to be had, and we're out there to try and find it. So thank you for joining. If you enjoy our show, please like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. For more information, you can visit www.destination-mystery.com. Find your own destination.
And solve the mystery.